The reason we all drink coffee isn't just the taste. It's mainly because of the caffeine. Let's not beat around the bush. I know people are like, oh, I love the aroma of coffee. Well, no, we drink it because of caffeine. And Natsuki was like, and Natsuki coffee, no coffee in it, no caffeine. And I was like, what are you doing?
Wow.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Abroad Japan podcast, probably the best way of learning about life in Japan without actually being in Japan. I'm your host Chris Broad and we're joined as always by England's top Japan enthusiast, Mr. Pete Donaldson himself. Pete, how the devil are you doing? What's going on?
I'm beaming with pride, Chris. I can't help but think that my 5-6 year obsession with drinking in Japan has kind of rubbed off. You've finally released a video about boozing etiquette with Natsuki, also a fan of the nightlife.
We have. Well, yeah, it's good actually. I haven't done a video on like etiquette in a while, and always does well because I think people are like afraid of cocking up in Japan.
We get a lot of questions about that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We always have, haven't we? And like, really, it's quite hard to put a foot wrong in Japan unless you're just an absolute. And you know, it's all fairly obvious stuff. But yeah, it was good to get that video out. It's good to get it done.
When you meet people who are like really problematic in a bar in Japan, you know, just stumbly and loud and obnoxious, you do sort of go, I don't think you're going to have a very nice time. So, I mean, as long as you're not that, as long as you just tone that side of your personality down, I think you're absolutely fine.
Absolutely. Problematic in Japan. It's Pete Donaldson's brand new series coming out as he stumbles around. But, yeah, I mean, was there anything in the video that you didn't know? Or did you know it?
You know what? It's that Gochiso Samadeshita. I just always forget how to say it, what to say. And I just go with a simple domo and a bow and a bye. See you later. I'm out of here.
It's definitely one to know. Like one of the few phrases, "Gochiso sama deshita," means like it was a feast. And I've got some friends here at the moment, and whenever we leave a restaurant, they're like "Arigato gozaimasu," and there's nothing wrong with that, but like it's just not what you say. It seems like natural for us to be like, "Oh, thanks." Cheers at the end of a meal in a restaurant, right? But yeah, in Japan, you don't ever really say it. It's a bit weird. Yeah. So, gochiso samadeshita.
How many friends are you kind of entertaining at the moment? Because obviously the yen is historically low at the moment. And even people who, you know, I've known for a very, very long time, had no interest in Japan, suddenly on an Instagram profile, they're stood in front of a big church in Japan. And I'm like, oh, hello, yeah, you got involved, did you, finally?
Yeah, I mean, I have noticed a lot more friends have been coming over recently because of the sort of cheap yen. Yeah. And also, you know, people just who have been planning to come and then COVID happened and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
They're finally having a long-awaited trip. So, yeah, there's been quite a lot of friends coming. It's cool. It's nice that I'm... Because I am in Tokyo now, it's quite easy to show people around the studio and whatnot. Yeah. So that's kind of nice. But, yeah, it's good. It's just as long as they say Gochiso Samadeshita, I'm happy. Gochiso Samadeshita
at the end of your feast of content.
You always cock it up. You always say Gochiso Samadeshita. It's like...
Gochiso Samadeshita. Because I am Sean Connery from the James Bond films. I'm a refined Scottish gent who has problems in his personal life, in my opinion.
But I mean, with the pronunciation of Gochiso Samadeshita, like, I mean, in the video, I cocked up a lot of things. When I speak English and I drop Japanese words in, often I don't pronounce it in the way you would. I don't say it in the way you would in Japan. Like,
no,
you know, we say Kobe, actually it's Kobe, or Kyoto, it'd be like Kyoto. And with karaoke, you know, I still say karaoke like a British person because it's a bit awkward to be like, next up, Natsuki and I are off to karaoke. I can't. It's hard to switch between the two. If I was just speaking Japanese, I would say like karaoke because it's karaoke, not karaoke. And it's I always cock it up.
Speaking of Natsuki, has he recovered from all those cigars that he smoked in your video?
He did smoke a fair few. My God, his eyes lit up when like the man was like, "Oh, we have a cigar box." And by the end of the evening, the box was just empty. Need another shipment.
I'd eaten every last one of them. Disgusting.
Castro's private reserve. But yeah, he's going to be buying another shipment soon, probably. But it was fun. It was good fun. And yeah, and the video was actually sponsored by Big Echo, which obviously I said at the end of the video. And that was the third place we went. And it's always good. Like filming in a karaoke place is always tricky. So it was kind of like a good sponsor in that we could get in and film unimpeded in a way.
I'm doing this. I'm doing this. It's the perfect synergy between brand and provider of content. I'm loving it.
Absolutely, and it went. You know, they didn't get in the way of me ordering and drinking everything, so that was kind of cool. It's a nice natural fit. But yeah, fun video. Good evening out, and hopefully, if you watch it, you'll learn something along the way.
Fun vibes.
I hope so. We got a story this week from somebody who hasn't written their name, unless it will reveal itself within the story. It begins. Hello, Chris and Pete. I'm a regular visitor to Japan, and in mid-September...
It's regular visitor. They finally emailed.
Visitor desk. I'm a regular visitor to Japan, and in mid-September 2023, I travelled to Shimoda for some cycling, booking a hotel near Mount Omuro. Shimoda's in Izu. And we went there in Journey Across Japan 2, right at the end. There's like this... Mount Omuro is this incredible thing. Look it up, but it's like a volcano that's perfectly conical. It looks like a theme park attraction, like a massive pyramid-y theme park attraction, but it's just a naturally occurring mini volcano, and I've never seen anything quite like it. But I identified Futo Station as the closest to my hotel, about a 7-minute taxi ride or a 40-minute walk, according to Google Maps. Upon arriving at the unmanned and totally deserted Futo Station, it became apparent that a taxi was not an option. I hate it when that happens. When you get to the middle of nowhere, it's like, oh God, hope there's a taxi where... And it's not, there's nothing. So I began the uphill walk with my heavy luggage, the intense September heat and humidity making it a struggle.
Oh.
A few minutes in, my calves already burning, I became aware of a car slowing down next to me. An elderly Japanese lady rolled down the window and asked me where I was heading. After explaining I was going to Mount Omuro, she chuckled and said, "I believe in you," and speedily accelerated off. I love that. About 15 minutes later, exhausted and dehydrated, I found a 7-Eleven. The aircon cooled me down, the water perked me up, and I continued up the hill. I heard a car approaching and turned around to see, yet again, the familiar car and same elderly lady passing by. Once more, she rolled down her window, this time calling out, "Almost there," before speeding off again. I finally... Bloody hell, this woman's taunting him. I finally reached my lovely hotel, probably all the more lovely after the exhausting trek, and enjoyed a wonderful stay. This peculiar encounter with a local was both entertaining and supportive. I wish he'd just given me a lift in her car. Thanks to the podcast, guys. Love listening every week. I'll be back in Japan at the end of June for most of the summer. Can't wait. All the best. Regular anonymous visitor. And maybe next time they'll have more luck getting a lift from elderly strangers.
Almost there. Almost there. The almost there lady. It's like, I'm going to use an 80s allegory of Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid. Someone who just encourages, teaches you to get up that hill. I mean, that's just astonishing work. I mean, why couldn't... I mean, maybe it was the September sweat that meant that she didn't want you in her car. So, but good on her for. I mean, I worry that she was like the hotelier who owned the whole hotel that you were staying in, and like that would really that would really annoy you.
You made it, didn't you? Well done.
well done, you. Oh wow,
that's amazing. I want to do that to my friends when I pick them up from a station. I have to climb a mountain. And I very slowly drive up alongside them, like, "You're almost there. This car's so lovely and air conditioned. Oh, there's bagels. Oh,
I mean, you basically had that. You basically had that on your big Connor cyclothon, didn't you? I mean, it's pretty much how everyone sort of operated. Ian, it's basically Ian, isn't it?
It is like, yeah, we're dying on like mountains, cycling up for hours. You get to the top, and Ian's there in the truck, like, "Okay, mate, only another 85 kilometres to go." And
just look at that camera there and do a piece to camera, please. Thank you.
And he's like munching. He's having a sandwich and a Coca-Cola. It became a joke on the cycle that like whenever Ian said there wasn't any mountains, there was always a mountain. That 9 times out of 10. He was like, "You're almost there.
Too much volcano."
Surface. There's no volcanoes. There's no hills. Don't worry. And then we were out in the corner and it was like fucking Mount Olympus. And God damn it, Ian.
I remember the last time I saw Ian was a little while ago, and I was up. Going over the road from our hotel to have a really unhealthy black pudding focused breakfast. Ooh. And Ian was out running, and he said, "Me and my friend have got a running kind of bet that I'm going to be doing as much running as he has." And he's just always running, so I imagine his legs are just built differently. They're just constantly on the move.
Yeah, Ian does this challenge where he has to run something crazy. It's like 50 kilometres a week or something with his friend, and his friend lives like overseas somewhere, and if they fail, they have to buy each other a ticket to the respective country.
Yes.
In this case, if Ian fails, he has to buy a ticket for his friend to come to Japan. It's actually, in all the time I've known Ian, 5, 6, 7 years, he's barely missed this kind of. He's barely missed a week of running because of this challenge of the threat of having to spend hundreds of pounds to pay for his friend to come over.
He hates his friend, really basically. He absolutely abhors it. He never wants to see him again, so he's running for fear of him turning up from, I believe, Hong Kong to Japan.
Right, we should do it. If I fail, I've got to buy you a ticket to like Tokyo, and if you
what a good one though. None of your Air
Just-
China economy, please. I want to direct on ANA in business.
No, fuck, you must be joking. The price difference between Air China and ANA is biblical. You would not believe. You can come to Japan in direct for like $400 or £500 now, I think, on Air China. Don't do that. Don't do that. I've flown on Air China once, and don't do that. We've got a story this week involving vending machines, which we never talk about much, even though it's everyone's favourite thing, other than a photo of Lawson's in front of Mount Fuji. But Japan, of course, has more vending machines per capita than anywhere else on the world. Scarcely a street corner in the country, has not got a vending machine. Everywhere, they're everywhere. But there's a problem, and it's coming. And it's going to ruin the vending machines for everyone. What's going on, Pete? Why are vending machines under threat?
Well, I think unless you sort of go to Japan, if you've never visited Japan, you sort of think, vending vending machines, pants and drinks.
Oh,
and,
vending machines.
All that sort of, You just think, they're everywhere. They are everywhere. I am still thinking about the vending machine that I experienced last August, where they, inexplicably, in the August sun, they were selling sort of cream-based sort of pancakes, like crepes, wrapped in like cans that they were, because I thought it was like going to be one of those kind of vending machines that makes the crepes while you wait, but it wasn't. It was just a very old vending machine
horrible.
In the arse end of like Kyushu that sold these basically crepes that had been jammed into a. I don't even think they were refrigerated. They were just jammed into these little kind of capsules and put in the vending machine. Chris, they were the most delicious crepes I've ever had in my life, and I think about them constantly. I think it's on. It'll be on a website somewhere. Just if you're in the area for wherever the hell we were, there is a great hard off or clothes off, whatever the clothes version of hard off is. And there's also a vending machine that sells crepes, and I think about those creamy crepes every single goddamn day. But they are everywhere.
My first trip to Hiroshima, where I was like. The atomic bomb dome. Miyajima. The pizza vending machine. We featured this bloody pizza vending machine prominently.
That was such a big feature of the podcast for such a long time. People were asking about the pizza vending machine, who were sending us stories about the pizza vending machine. And I think that and tattoos. I think you can buy pizza vending machines on AliExpress now. I mean, they're a good few grand. And you could just go to Domino's and just get yourself a pizza. But, if you want a vending machine in your backyard making pizzas as and when, you've got it. Anyway, Japan is going to screw everyone over. They're set to introduce a new set of banknotes this summer, something it does every 20 years or so to thwart counterfeiters. However, the new yen notes won't be compatible with any or many machines that small businesses like ramen shops and mom-and-pop stores rely on. So it's not just the vending machines you see out on the street selling cans, it's also the little vending machines that a lot of businesses use inside the store. If you go into a ramen shop, you frequently are faced with like a load of buttons and a coin slot, and you select your food, you give the coin slot in, and then it services you a ticket. You go to the chef with the ticket, and you go, "Can you make this, please?" And it's just a really tidy and easy way to sort of get, and also frequently they have English options and stuff. It's really, really good stuff. But the new yen notes won't be compatible with these machines. Apparently the country has 4.1 million vending machines, and many of them will be obsolete thanks to the new 1,000 yen, 5,000 yen and 10,000 yen bill rollout in July, featuring hologram technology. With like a cash focused kind of society. I'm surprised they haven't sort of gone down this route a little bit earlier, because I mean, obviously, presumably those notes are quite easy to counterfeit. And will we still have on the 1,000 yen note, or maybe the 1,000 yen note's got that man who I think he discovered syphilis. I think that there's a man with beautiful rich hair. Will he still be on the 1,000 yen note? That's the question.
I hope it's Natsuki. Get Natsuki on there with his cigar.
Get Natsuki on there with the cigar. Go on, yes please.
My life.
Yeah,
cigars.
but we're in big trouble. Some municipalities will be offering subsidies. Subsidies, you know, the subsidies that they usually spend on massive massive freezers or statues of octopi. They are going to be offering a bit of money for people to change them out. But the cost of upgrading or replacing the machines will fall on the shop owners to upgrade or replace the vending machines. And it's never been harder to run a business in Japan, obviously with the weak yen as well. That's not helping. And I think a lot of these vending machines may very well find themselves out of business, or certainly out of operation. So get involved with the vending machines now. Give them some love, for crying out loud.
Enjoy them while you can. I wonder if this means I could pick up some vending machines, and this could be part of your new collection, right, Mr. Toyota Century car man. Imagine just having like a field full of like old Japanese vending machines. Start exporting
them.
You'd love it. Well, you'd love it.
I would love it because, to be quite frank, the vending machine game in England is absolutely atrocious, as you well know. They are getting a little bit better. I have recently become obsessed with energy drinks because I need the energy, and I do find that most train stations now do sell Rockstar. Who drinks Rockstar? What's that about? That's very much the...
Tully's Barrister Black Coffee as I'm drinking.
Well,
right
now. Just some lovely hot coffee machine will be bloody lovely. And the best thing about vending machines, sometimes they're hot, sometimes they're cold. Sometimes you can buy like a mystery bag or a mystery can that's got something that you don't even know what it is in. It's great stuff. Love a vending machine. Love novelty. Love Japan.
$19,000 though to buy a new machine, that's quite a hefty amount. Imagine if you're like a small ramen shop or a mum and pup store and you've got to blow almost $20,000 on a new machine, right? Yeah. The only thing is, I guess they last a long time. But
Chris, if you've been on the internet, it's very much what these passive income experts talk about, and everyone's got a vending. And you see these fellas film themselves going to their vending machine. I was like, and they're counting up their coins, and they go, "Yeah, I made $20 today, passive income." It's like you have been sold a fucking kipper here, mate.
Passive income. I hate that expression. It's such a load of nonsense all the time. But yeah, I mean, Charlotte has a vending machine out the front of their place, Neko Inn, and I don't know if they make any money from it. I think it's more like the way it works basically is, depending on where your location is, the vending machine company works out how much money you're going to make, and then they dictate the profit from there. And I don't know if Charlotte actually makes any profit from her one. I think it's more just a service that they have out the front of their place, even though it sells quite well from visitors and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, the only good thing, I guess, is with all these outdated vending machines going out and new ones coming in that cost $20,000, hopefully they can accept things like Suica cards. And I'm talking more like the vending machines you find in stores, right? Like ramen shops or soba restaurants where you go in, you order, where you have to have cash. You can't use your card. Maybe it'll be nice to walk into a ramen shop without cash and know that you can still eat things. Because, it's common to be out in the middle of nowhere. As I was last week in Yamagata, I went to a ramen shop, and if you didn't have your card with you, you just can't eat ramen. You need coins, you need cash. So I think this will be a good thing, to be honest, but it'll take a while to replace them all. I don't know how. But you sort of think
that they're probably sort of thinking, why bother going to another set of coins and paper money when you could just jump straight to credit cards or debit cards? I don't know.
I wonder, but yeah, I want to get hold of one. I love a good vending machine. They're cracking.
Yeah,
nostalgic fun.
What would you put in your vending machine?
What would Cigars. I put in my machine? I'd put in a little Natsuki doll that swears and pulls a string. It tells you to go fuck yourself. I think that'd be quite lovely. We'd have to make them first. That would cost a lot more than $20,000. But it'd be cool, wouldn't it? I've often thought about having an abroad Japan vending machine because Natsuki's got one. Remember, like a year ago, even 2 years ago, I think, we talked about how Natsuki's got his own vending machine. And I saw Natsuki. I was up there just a few days ago, and he's had it sitting out the front of his shop for like a year now. And I'm like, what's going on with this vending machine? This is a great idea. Maybe the greatest initiative Natsuki's had since Natsuki vodka in his bathtub, whatever he was going to make his own gin or something in his sink. Luckily that didn't happen. But I think it's a good idea for Natsuki to have a vending machine out the front of his store, because sometimes viewers turn up. He told me a viewer turned up the other day, opened the door, and he was busy cutting someone's hair. And they were like, "Can I have a photo?" And he was like, "Oh, maybe in 30 minutes when I'm done." And they walked off, and they just didn't come back. It's just really weird.
Well,
interaction.
Instead, he could have shouted, "Buy something in the vending machine and piss off."
Buy the Natsuki doll. Buy the Natsuki hair trimmer. Out now. But like, he was going to make something. Do you remember? I was going to make coffee. He was going to make his own coffee.
Oh yes.
And the problem was simple. The problem with Natsuki coffee was. It basically got worse the more he described it. It started off as like, I'm going to make a coffee. And I was like, oh, that's good. You know, I love coffee. Drinking it now. Give me all the coffee. And he's like, but maybe my coffee have no coffee inside. And I was like, what? And he's like, it's local tea. We'll put local tea in it, but we call it coffee. I'm like, that violates probably 5 different advertising rules already.
Yeah, it sounds very much like he's got a lot of tea. Natsuki just sell the tea, mate. I mean, people still like tea.
The reason we all drink coffee isn't just the taste. It's mainly because of the caffeine. Let's not beat around the bush. I know people are like, oh, I love the aroma of coffee. Well, no, we drink it because of caffeine. And Natsuki was like, and Natsuki coffee, no coffee in it, no caffeine. And I was like, what are you doing?
Is it leaves, Natsuki? Is it hair? Have you just swept up some hair and you put it in there and you're saying it's tea? Oh, dirty old Natsuki hair tea. Disgusting.
So, be advised, if you end up in front of Natsuki's vending machine sometime in the next 200 years, when he actually does it, be wary when buying Natsuki coffee, because coffee might be the only thing that's not in the can of coffee. Fucking hell. What a muffin. Anyway, more of Natsuki later. We'll be back in just a moment, guys, with your stories, comments and questions over in the fax machine.
Wow.
And we're back with the fax machine. What do we got this week from our listeners, Mr. Dawson?
We got a message from Kieran from Ireland. Hello, Kieran. I think I'm saying that right. Whenever I say an Irish name like Aoife, I know how to say that one, but a lot of them, I just go, I've ruined this already. But I think it is Kieran from Ireland. Hi, Perceptive Pete and Caffeinated Chris. Last year, I visited Japan for the second time, and on a whim, my friend had booked sumo. Having never been exposed to it before, I was shocked at how enjoyable it was to be there and enjoy the sport in person. This year I'm planning to go to a baseball game in Tokyo, sing the chants of the fans, and it seems like it could be a great cultural experience. Are there any sports or events that you've been to that you can recommend? Kieran from Ireland. Wasn't there this week a lot of chat about a very talented Japanese baseball armsman throwing a ball really hard at a stump or a base, and people were saying, "Oh my God, isn't this amazing?" And then a load of cricket fans went, "We do this every week in cricket," and so there was a big cricket and baseball battle last week, which I very, very much enjoyed. Both talented sportsmen, and sportswomen.
I did see that. Cricket. I don't think anybody has ever done cricket in Japan. Maybe I'm proving me wrong, but I've never seen or heard of it here. But I've still never been to sumo myself. I missed the opportunity about a year ago. I was invited to go, and I was busy talking to Natsuki about Natsuki coffee, probably, and so I missed it. And I've always been a bit gutted about that.
If you go to sumo before you go to professional wrestling, I'm going to be furious, Christopher Broad.
I'll do both. But no, I'd like to go see wrestling here. Next time you come over, Pete, we'll go down to Osaka. We'll meet with good old Sean, and we'll go and see some wrestling once and for all. That'll be quite fun, actually.
Yeah,
but only when you come over.
Sean knows his stuff. Sean knows his stuff.
That he does. We got a story or question. Sean, he's good.
Is he all right?
He's good.
Is he all right? Good. All right.
Good old Sean.
Great. Could do this off air, but how's Sean?
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever talked about Sean before. He's our friend in Osaka. We always hang out with him when we go down there. And he guided us on our Osaka tour video we did a few years ago. He was our invaluable guide. Hello, guys. Paul here from Adelaide, Australia. I've just returned from 2 weeks in Tokyo and wondered, has Pete ever tried Cremier soft serve ice cream? With his love for Coolish, I wonder if he is missing out. High-fat soft cream, the high-class sweet, as it describes itself. I found it at Excelsior Coffee, Shibuya. All the best, Paul from Adelaide. Cremier ice cream is really good, actually. I don't like ice cream, but Cremier is this really very thick, kind of rich ice cream. I think it's probably made from Hokkaido cream. 25% Hokkaido fresh cream. Have you had it? You must have had it.
I've not. No, I mean, I find with stuff like that, I'm not a big dessert guy, inexplicably. Although I am obsessed with obviously Lotte's Coolish product. But
Naturally.
no, if I'm in a restaurant, I rarely go for the old ice cream. But if that's a high fat soft cream, the high class sweet, I'm there.
It's good stuff. Have you ever seen it out in the wild, guys, on your travels? Cremier soft cream. Don't miss it. It's the one ice cream that I would actually willingly eat.
Someone pointed out that Lotte Coolish is now available in Hawaii, so it's creeping towards the mainland, towards the western seaboard. Imagine
if Cremier and Coolish did a collaboration and Coolish became actually edible. That'd be amazing.
It's not about what it tastes like, it's the sensation of sucking ice cream out of a small straw. It's just, that's what it's all about, Chris.
Ice cream out of a bag. We got one here from Larissa who says, hello, Chris and Pete. My husband and I are visiting Japan for 2 weeks in October. We've booked activities in Tokyo and Kanazawa, but have a little time yet to fill. I've discovered that Kawagoe Matsuri takes place on October 19th. Have either of you been before? Do you think it's worth a visit? I haven't been to Kawagoe Matsuri. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's very busy. Generally, big city festivals, I try and avoid them because you will just spend a lot of it being like banged around in a crowd, like pushed from side to side. It's not my idea of like fun. I like more countryside festivals though, where you can it's less chaotic. But maybe go to it for sure, but be advised that you might have a lot of trouble getting around. But you've never been to a festival, have you?
I went to a beer festival.
Of course,
a sake festival out in the sticks. But I mean, that gave me a little bit of a taste of what it would be like. I mean, from what I'd see, festivals is very, very busy. Everyone's wearing cat masks and eating big crisps. The osatsu chips, they're just big, long, like the entire side sort of cross section of a potato in a cup. Like, you get about 10 of them.
Yes.
I mean, they look amazing, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, the last festival I went to was on the cycle with Connor on day 2, actually. We passed through Hiroshima, near the Kintaikyo Bridge, this really kind of cool wooden bridge. And there was a festival there for cherry blossom season. And what I noticed was, having been to a fair few festivals out in the wild now, I've realised that basically they're all the same in terms of the food they sell and stuff like that. The festivals themselves change in the processions and the floats and whatnot, but the food is like identical. They're exactly the same food.
Right.
And I remember talking to a friend back when I lived in Sakata, because Sakata has its own festival every year in May, which I always miss, sadly. And I was told that they're run by like the Yakuza. The Yakuza own the stalls and like run that all. And that's their little way of making some money on the side, the old Yakuza. Not the malicious ways of the past, but just selling like okonomiyaki pancakes at a high
like
price.
Like a church group.
And choco bananas, which are very good to be fair, but often very overpriced what it is. So, it's one of those weird things you wouldn't necessarily have thought of, but the Yakuza have their fingers in many pies and many okonomiyaki pancakes, and they run a lot of the festivals and a lot of the processions.
Oh, interesting.
But, I'd like to go to more festivals though. The one I really want to go to is the one I've talked about but never actually been to. It's the Tachi Nepeta Festival in Aomori. I don't know if I've ever shown you, but have you seen these big 23-metre tall floats with all the paper mache on?
Oh, yeah. What, the ones that people carry down the street?
Yeah, but they're like fucking 25 metres tall. It's like a small skyscraper. And the town they do it in, Goshogawara in Aomori, it was like a thing in the 20th century, and then around like 1920, I think, they stopped doing it for some reason. And then in like 1990, somebody dug up a book with a photo of one of these Tachi Nepeta in, and the whole town came together and spent like 2 years building this float. They finished the float in like 1996, and they celebrated making this float, painstakingly constructing it over many weeks and months, by burning it down in a field. Like you do. I don't know. And then they decided, let's just make this a festival and let's just do it now. But to do it, because the floats are so tall and are like mini skyscrapers being carried by 24 people, they had to bury all the cables around town, all the electric cables, all the telephone wires. So
they don't do it.
Well, they grounded it all, and so now they can actually take the float around town. It's one of the few towns in Japan where you just don't see cables everywhere. and that is why they splashed big on this festival. So
and getting all of the wires in the ground. I mean, I guess that's the direction in which to go with drone technology only around the corner. But I would say that I mean, for the sake of some festival where. And also, it's all made of paper, so presumably, can you still get electrocuted over paper? Don't listen to me.
Only one way to find out.
Advice. Only one way to find out. Correct.
Grab your notebook.
Wow.
Let's get going. But I'd love to go and see that. But I miss it. And most festivals in Japan are in the summer months around July, August. And August is usually the month where I flee the country and go somewhere that isn't like a fucking oven. So, unfortunately, I don't know if I'll ever see the Tachi Nepeta Festival. But, yeah. Love a good festival. Keep the stories, questions, comments coming in to the Abroad in Japan podcast at gmail.com. We'll be back same time as always in the next few days. But for now, guys, have yourself a great few days. We'll see you right back here to do it all over again on the Abroad in Japan podcast. Bye for now. Don't electrocute yourself with paper either, for God's sake.